Hey, what's going on? Ryan Kohler here, founder of Applica Pro, CEO of Refer.io, and today I've got this amazing employer branding message for you of how to amplify the results you're getting. Today we're going to talk about call to action, and it is something that literally almost nobody talks about in the recruiting space. But as we try to act more like marketers, meaning branding, employer branding, and recruitment marketing really just has to do with us acting like marketers. And that means that we're going to be a little bit more mature and sophisticated with the way that we approach posting our jobs and generating applicants for them and how we follow up. If you remember the equation from these videos, number one, do we have our clear target persona? Number two, did we create compelling, engaging content they would engage with? Number three, are we distributing it, not just on job boards, but via email consistently, trying to get to that magical 7 to 10 touches where somebody's heard our message on 7 to 10 times in a row. But now we get to call to action. And this one is super interesting because most human resource professionals don't even think about it. And part of it is what we build our content for, right? When you think about the average job description, it was built as a piece of content that you may browse through, not that you read from top to bottom and that it's building up momentum towards something. It's just has its own kind of template, has its own type of content for a given purpose, which is compliance. It's about this like data about what it is that job does. And it's great from a compliance standpoint, but it's terrible from a marketing standpoint. And so instead, when we think about this job ad that's happening, what we're trying to do is build up momentum. It's supposed to be a story, right? So the very first part is like, hey, are you somebody who's looking for A, B, or C? Do you wish that you had an employer that did D, E, and F? Hey, we're looking for these certain things. We're looking for this type of person. If that's you, keep reading, right? And so that kind of sets the stage. You should read this. Then we start to build momentum as we're telling them about, hey, we're a great place to work. This is why you'd want to work here. And hey, here's the story about this job. You know, this is what a day in the life would be like. And hey, this is how you know you're qualified or not. So we brought them up the hill of, I want to do this job. Now we're kind of coming down and saying, hey, but you got to have these qualifications. And in order to be successful, you need to be this type of person and, you know, pay and all those kind of things. But at that point, one of the biggest differences between a piece of just information and a piece of marketing content is it needs to call them to act. And you might look at that and say, well, I don't need to do that. There's a button there that says apply. And if they want to apply, they'll just click apply. Yes, 100%, they will do that. But if you want to drive up the likelihood of them applying, then you embed in that a call to action. When we think about the way I just described the job ad, there's even calls to action inside of that push me to read more, right? In our very first setup, our very top paragraph, I talk about, are you this type of person? Do you wish you had these types of environment? Hey, we're looking for this. If you are that, call to action, keep reading. Right? And so even inside of this ad, I'm driving calls to action to build up that momentum. But when I hit the bottom, this is like a story without an ask. This is like a story without an ending. When I reach the bottom of that, you want to now drive momentum into them applying. You don't want to come down and be dead. Oh, by the way, here's this big long list of boring requirements. You want to drive them to then take that next action. And so that last paragraph should be inspiring. Hey, you read all the way down here? We want you on our team. Seems like you're really interested or you wouldn't have gotten to this part. So here's what we need you to do. We want you to go and apply for this job, right? It's going to take X amount of time. After you apply, this is what's going to happen. Please apply. Can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for reading, right? Really great call to action. But that idea of a call to action, the same thing happens on your career site content. The same thing happens in your emails. When I send out an email job alert and it has a list of jobs, I say, hey, click here to read more. That's a call to action. If I actually build in some stuff about our culture, our values, our what it's like to work for us, hey, click here to learn more. Click here to watch the video. Click here to, that click here, that's the call to action that's in it. But call to action doesn't always have to be about a click. It could be about an apply. It could be like, hey, let us know. Hey, hit me up. We'd love to chat. Hey, come in to our location and meet with us. All of those are different various calls to action. The key is having one there that spurs them to act. Then secondly, making sure that call to action makes sense and works. I can't tell you how many people that post a job on their career site and I get done reading it and they tell me to go back to their website to come back to the career site to apply, not recognizing that that job ad is on their ATS system and they should say, click apply. Because even that, like having a call to action, that's step one. Having a valid call to action is step two. Having an easy, low friction call to action is step three, right? And so that right there is kind of our level of value. Just a call to action is better than none. One that makes sense, better than just one that doesn't. Actually is easy. And if you added a fourth there, then I actually know what will happen next and can believe it, can depend on it. Hey, when you get done, this will happen. And so that right there kind of circles our entire loop. It's the 4 levels of power of a call to action. So thanks so much for listening today. Now, if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. 2 ways to reach me. Hey, Ryan at Refer.io. That's number 1. Shoot me an email. Number 2, leave a comment below. Love to hear your comments. Plus, feed the algorithm for me a little bit. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit like. Leave a comment. Love to hear from you. I read them all. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon. Chat you later.